Hi everyone, it's Deirdre, and I am so excited to announce the launch and availability of my new book, Social Media and Public Relations: 8 New Practices for the PR Professional. And here is my book. So, this book, I'll tell you, it had to be about 3, maybe 4 years in the making. I'm very proud to have David Armano. He wrote the foreword for my book, and I thought that it was extremely insightful. And this particular book is everything that I've been talking about, presenting at different conferences. It's what I take with me when I go and I help clients. It's what I tell students. It encapsulates everything public relations and social media because I believe we're at a crossroads, a time when public relations has the opportunity to really position itself as strategic. Social media reinvented public relations. Brian and I talked about that in our last book. But knowing that the ability to build relationships, to tell a customized and humanized story, to influence, is all a part of what we do today. So, what I tried to do was crystallize 8 new practices, and they are all in the book, from the PR policymaker to the internal collaboration generator. There's a PR tech tester, a comms organizer, the pre crisis doctor, the relationship analyzer. I put in a task force member, and of course, master of the metrics. A lot of these new practices take the best of what we know and also our ability to use technology to really reach people in a way that we've never done before, and to capitalize on our new talents, knowledge, skills, and ability, and the technology that really takes us farther. So, what I thought I'd do is, of course, I'm very, very thankful for all of the experts who participated in my book, and there really are so many. It's difficult for me to go through every expert and read a little bit or quote from them. But I did pull a few because I thought it was important. So I just want to highlight some of the folks who were kind enough to participate in my book. And one that I'd like to pull out is Ariel Hyatt, who is the founder of Cyber PR. And she was my PR champion in the internal collaboration generator. That is practice number 2. So when Ariel was asked why it's important for PR people to use collaborative technology and what are the benefits, I love when she said, "I'm always amazed when PR professionals tell me about the frustrations they're feeling in their firms and their colleagues because of all of them are not on the same page. And their campaigns begin to feel disjointed. And when PR lacks consistency, it lacks results. This is where collaborative technology comes in to save the day." So, if you want to hear a little bit more about Ariel's interview, she's in chapter 2. I also really thought Jason Kinsler, who is CEO of Pitch Engine, he's another one of my champions. And one of the things that Jason said, I was asking him just to give some tips to PR people. He said, it's always good to see what your peers in the industry are doing. New technologies launch almost daily, but it's really important to understand how they're being applied in practical ways. Jason even said in his interview that he spends about 30 minutes outside of work every day testing new technology. So he truly is a tech tester. I love the interview with Priya Ramesh, who is an online director at CRT Tanaka. And one of the things that Priya does, she really believes in listening to customers and constituents to learn what needs to be communicated. And she said there's a huge gap that exists. The digital natives have closed the gap between what they uncover in conversations and what they do with information. And it's really important for us to keep in mind that that's something that we have to continuously do through technology to offer information that's going to be much more meaningful to our constituents. Another interview and champion who I absolutely have to point out is my friend Sarah Evans. I loved Sarah's interview, and I too feel like I learned from this PR and social media influencer. So, one of the things that Sarah was talking about in her interview were some of the ways that traditional and social media kind of work the same. And she says, in relation to the crisis, you need to kill the story before it gets too far while keeping a constant pulse on your brand's online marketing. When the online conversation starts, it should not continue without you. And basically, what she's saying is that it will if you're not paying attention. Sarah gives some tremendous tips about social media crisis, a matrix that you can use, and how you can really focus on the crisis at different intervals from 1 to 2 hours, 3 to 4 hours, etc. Another interview that I definitely want to point out, it's actually two, under the Master of the Metrics. My friend Valerie Simon, who is a digital communications leader. You may know Valerie and I do PR Stud Chat together. It's our community that we love. She's also co-founder of Hapo. And one of my favorite things that Valerie says right off the bat with her interview when we were talking about metrics, she says, as you evaluate your metrics, pause frequently and ask, so what? And that is so true because there are so many metrics. And as a master of the metrics, you really have to understand the metrics that executives want from you and what they're actually looking for you to measure in terms of goals and objectives versus maybe what some of the community managers or the departments in your company are looking to measure in their programs. And then, of course, there is Shanali Burke, who gave me an excellent interview. Shanali is now at MSL in Washington, and she was talking about fairly common mistakes. And I'm not going to read you all of them because hopefully you'll check them out. But she said the first mistake is that PR professionals don't measure objectives, they have ephemeral targets such as buzz. And even if they usually set overall goals. So it is very, very important to make sure that your goals are quantifiable and they are also measured over time. And Shanali talks about the work that she's done and the metrics that she's pulled to show how social media and public relations can help you reach your goals. And lastly, of course, I want to point out part of Brian Solis's interview. We all know Brian, speaker, author of The End of Business as Usual. I reviewed Brian's book. He's also a principal at Altimeter Group. And I'll tell you, words of wisdom from Brian, many, many words of wisdom from Brian in this interview. But I will pull this quote. He says, and this is all in relation to public relations professionals becoming PR influencers, as well as businesses becoming influencers. This is a time for revisiting what we do, why it matters, and how we will not only get closer to our customers and employers, but also become an invaluable part of their ecosystem. If we can introduce resolution, direction, innovation, and camaraderie into their philosophies, processes, and communication, business can become influential. And as the storytellers, as the folks who need to get information to the right people at the right time, this advice is truly valuable. So, you just got a little taste of my book. I'm extremely excited about it. And I will be, of course, talking about many of the other experts who have interviewed and really hoping to continue the education on the 8 PR practices and how they can be used for yourselves, professional development within your own organizations, and how we together can grow as an industry. With that, I thank you. I hope that you will check out my book, Social Media and Public Relations. And with that, if you have any feedback whatsoever, please let me know what you're thinking about social media and PR and some of the new practices that you're putting into place. Thank you.